So for today we have this form again, summary outline, and we have our story, The Hoppers Start School. What we're going to do is we are going to fill out this summary outline using The Hoppers Start School. So I need to look at what I need to find first. The beginning, what happens first, or if you don't know what that means, the characters and the setting. So I've got The Hoppers Start School. Very first page, the Hoppers were asleep in their beds when suddenly Mother Hopper called, "Wake up, Hoppers, it's the first day of school." 3 of the Hoppers didn't want to wake up early, but Fluffy Tail got up. "Wake up, Speedy Legs, Floppy Ears, wake up, Snubby Nose, it's the first day of school." Finally, all 4 Hoppers were out of bed. They went downstairs to eat their breakfast, and Snubby Nose slid down the railing. Okay, so we have a few characters in there. How do we know which one out of here, which one to put in our graphic organizer? It starts off at the very beginning with a clue, the Hoppers. I would start with that to keep it simple. So the Hoppers got out of bed. Now, there's more than just the Hoppers here, so let's keep reading. "You better hurry or you'll be late for school," said Mother Hopper. The Hoppers began to eat their oatmeal, but the oatmeal was very hot. When Snubby Nose ate his, he burned his mouth. "Ow!" he howled. "That oatmeal is too hot." "Quick, take a drink of water, Snubby Nose." Okay, so it looks to me like Snubby Nose is who this is going to be about. So, in the beginning, the Hoppers say, "In the beginning, the Hoppers and Snubby Nose got out of bed." Where is it set? It doesn't exactly say, does it? So we can just assume that it's set in their house. We don't need to write that down. So it looks like the next category is next, or the problem. What happens next in the story? Well, it looks like Snubby Nose is having some problems, doesn't it? Look at this. He ate oatmeal and it burned his mouth. So that's one thing. We could write that down. Next, Snubby Nose ate oatmeal and it was too hot. Okay, so that's a problem. And his brothers are trying to help him, but here Mom says if you don't finish your oatmeal, you'll be late for school. That also could be a problem for Snubby Nose. "I made your lunch boxes for you. I put them in your lunch boxes," Mother Hopper said. The Hoppers got all their lunch boxes, but Snubby Nose only had a brown plain paper bag. So that is also a problem. Snubby Nose ate oatmeal. It was too hot. He did not have a lunch box. So we've got all sorts of problems here. So he couldn't find his lunchbox and he cried even harder. Okay, so things are not going great for Snubby Nose. Let's see if there's any other problems. Mother Hopper says you have to go to school before the bell. So they started out to school, but still Snubby Nose sniffed and cried. "You have to stop crying, Snubby Nose. We'll miss the last bell," said Floppy Ears. So they're trying to hurry to school and get him to cheer up. And he just gives up. So here's another problem. Snubby Nose was sad and late for school. Okay, so he's got a few problems going on in this story. And he's feeling pretty sad for himself right now. Look at all those tears. He's feeling very sad. And then the next category on our graphic organizer is then and after that. So how are his problems going to be fixed? He's got several. He ate oatmeal, it was too hot, he didn't have a lunchbox, and he finally was sad and made himself late for school. So how's he going to fix this? And Grandpa Grizzly comes along and sees Snubby Nose crying. And Snubby Nose says today's first day of school, nothing is going right. And Grandpa Grizzly put his paw on Snubby Nose's shoulder. There's only one thing to do when things go bad, he said. That is to keep going. He walked Snubby Nose down the path. Look at the pretty fall leaves, Snubby Nose. So Grandpa Grizzly helped Snubby Nose up. So Snubby Nose didn't start to solve the problem on his own. So he said, look at the pretty fall leaves. Why don't you put some in your pockets to take to school? They were red and yellow and pretty. And then Grandpa Grizzly said, see the pretty flowers by the side of the road? Won't you pick a bunch for your teacher? And then they are finally at school. And Grandpa Grizzly says, I see your brothers. And now he asks them if he feels better. Grandpa Grizzly said yes. So Snubby Nose took leaves and gathered flowers. But how did that make him feel better? Let's find out. If you feel bad again, remember the fall leaves and the flowers. Remember that you can feel better all by yourself. Here it is. Here's the solution. Snubby Nose got his mind off his problems. So how am I going to write that out? I'm going to write it as Snubby Nose made himself feel better by picking flowers and picking up leaves. So that kind of ties into our next section, finally, or the solution, the lesson learned, or the feeling. Thank you, Grandpa Grizzly, cried Snubby Nose. Snubby Nose ran towards the other hoppers. They went inside the school just as the last bell rang, so he was not late. He would have been had he not picked himself up. So I think this is the lesson right here. If you feel bad again, remember that you can make yourself feel better. So finally, Grandpa Grizzly taught Snubby Nose that he can make himself feel better when he is feeling sad.